right, folks, welcome to Nino's Corner.tv. I got a great show with Shawn Taylor lined up right now, and I am just in disbelief of what's going on. I know that, we all see the protests, everything escalating, everything's really picking up speed, and then you've been doing your work behind the scenes, and it started, 15 years ago, 20 years ago in Tennessee as deputy police chief. You uncovered massive deep state mortgage fraud. And I know that you've been very busy, very busy. It's been very hard for me to get in touch with you. I've reached out to you many times to no avail. I've been trying to line you up for shows, trying to get you on. And I know you've been in DC talking to people, and you sent me this, this post, and I saw it and I thought to myself, something's going on. So you're going to tell my audience that a storm is coming, correct? Because it seems to me like you're signaling to that. Thank you for joining.
Yeah, I mean, you got to look at what's happening. I mean, the stuff with the DOJ just didn't stand by with the Don Lemon stuff after that magistrate judge kicked it out. What'd they do? They doubled down. They went after him again, and they're going to demand accountability. Everybody's complaining about the Epstein files not getting released. I mean, what are we looking at? Over 2 million, 3 million files that had to be redacted and stuff like that. Do we want to ruin investigations, criminal investigations, just because the public wants to know what's going on? Are you kidding me? If it was your daughter or that information released to screw up the investigation, hell no, you wouldn't want that released because you want accountability. This is what accountability looks like. So what's happening is it's just not happening in the time frame everybody wants it to. But it is happening. And, I've sat in a lot of meetings over the past couple of weeks. I've done a lot of traveling. I've done more traveling in the past 6 months than I've done probably in my entire life. And I've sat in on a lot of meetings, and I'm telling you, the accountability is coming. And I think everybody can agree, Nino, I know you agree, we've gone from just a drip from the faucet to a wide open garden hose at this point. And I'm telling you, the fire hydrant's fixing to open.
So I've had you on my show many times, right? And it seemed like you weren't getting any attention. You were like the boy on top of the hill screaming, wolf, 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 and nobody was even looking at you.
Right.
And then all of a sudden, man, you just disappeared. You were busy. And I was like, oh, man, something's going on with Shawn Taylor, man. He's going to DC. He's talking to some very prominent, good people. And I was just hoping like hell the things that you uncovered finally came to light, which I can assume they did, correct?
Yeah, it's come to light, and we got people like you, Alpha, Scott, Joe. I mean, we've got a ton of people.
A team.
We've got the Flynn's, we got Sheriff Mack, and we've got Kyle Reyes, Law Enforcement Today, Blue Lives Matter, and they've seen what we've got, and they're carrying it. They carried it to the people in DC, and now we got eyes on us, and now it's time for the accountability to come. Now we're coming to you, President Trump. President Trump, we've got a task force stood up and ready, made up of current and retired local law enforcement all the way up to federal agents. We have accessibility to intel communities in the private sector, and we're ready to rip. We are ready to rip. The fire is getting oxygen.
And now you have access to put this information in front of the right people, right? I know you've been talking to a lot of people. Mm-hmm. And they seeked you out from being on shows like mine and others, correct? They found you and said, okay, well, this guy's got some very important information. You do have access to get this in front of Trump, correct?
We have access to individuals that are around President Trump, yes, and we believe there's still blockers in place to keep a lot of this information from coming forward. But we have people that are conversing with that are very close to him. I'll just put it that way.
Okay, I'm going to play this post that you sent me real quick just to show people what's going on. And it's, you sent me this and I got chills.
Chief Shawn Taylor, I hope y'all are staying warm. It's a little chilly here. All right, y'all, we're done. We're over it. President Trump, I've got at least a 12-man and female team that is put together that's ready to be your presidential point team. We've already identified trillions in cash that's being moved through the mortgages. We've identified billions that's going through healthcare illegally. We've identified human trafficking rings. We have identified narcotics trafficking rings. We're made up of regular police officers, agents at different federal bureaus. We have U.S. attorneys we're talking to and state attorney generals. We're ready, President Trump. We're asking you to help us and make us your presidential point team to go after these bastards. We're done and we're ready for the accountability. All you have to do is say yes, and we are ready to go. God bless you, and God bless our republic.
That's huge. So, wow. So to me, this seems like it's go time. I've heard from other people like 𝗬𝗏 the Ghost, people that I'm in contact with, that coming into, let's just say the spring, summer, that this stuff is going to go bananas. The only card they have left to play is chaos. And they know that Trump's getting ready to sign an executive order regarding elections, transparency, in-person, paper ballot. And we know this is coming. And I know that they know. So they know this is all being formulated and planned out right now for him to sign this executive order, which tells me you compound that with what you're doing, it's a wrap. I mean, it's an absolute wrap, right? They have no chance except chaos and maybe false flags, terrorist events, to just spiral our country into some kind of civil war.
Yeah, and I believe that we've got some very good patriots that are serving President Trump's cabinet, and some very good patriots in the DOJ, and of course the Department of War. And I think that they are educated enough, and I've heard enough, that before you go to battle, you have to prepare the battlefield, just like General Flynn has always said. I briefed him up in Washington State up at one of Sheriff Mack's events a couple of weeks ago, face to face, just he and I and Senator Mark Finchem had a great briefing with General Flynn. And it's like General Flynn says, before you go to battle, you have to prepare the battlefield. All right. That means that you have to know what your opposition is going to be doing, what they're going to be pulling in. You're going to have to know their dirty tricks. You're going to have to know how to outflank them on this battlefield, and you've got to be prepared. I believe we've got everything established, and we're ready for whatever bag of dirty tricks that these people have that are being funded by the CCP, your cartels, and this socialist movement that they've been trying to push on us for so long. I believe that the battlefield has been prepared, and it's fixing to pop off. It's fixing to pop off. The accountability is coming.
I'm noticing a lot of activity on the border. There's some things shifting and changing where I'm at in El Paso. I know, and I've heard things from friends from the other side that says the cartels are preparing for a war. And I've been hearing this now for a couple of years, or really the last year. So when they all get caught and they all are facing prison sentences or worse, they have no choice but to fight. They're the cornered cat. They have to come out swinging, and they're going to do everything they can do to bring everybody down with them, right? I mean, that's how you see it. And the information, the pertinent information that you have is could be the final nail in the coffin, right?
Well, if you cut off the money flow, it's no different than what was happening in Vietnam. We kept bombing the 𝗀𝗏 Minh Trail, bombing the 𝗀𝗏 Minh Trail, bombing the 𝗀𝗏 Minh Trail, because you had to cut off the supplies of the Viet Cong. Well, what we have to do, the supplies here, is the money. And the money is what's building the infrastructure. So what we're doing, what Nick has done, Shirley has done up there in Minnesota, is we're going after the money. It's time to cut off that money infrastructure. And that way they have no way to be able to refuel and resupply. And so we've got to cut off those different roads that are coming into paying these people, all these protesters that are being brought in up in Minnesota and all these other places. And heck, when we were up there in Washington State with General Flynn and Finchem and Sheriff Mack, we had probably 150 protesters out there on us.
On exclusively you guys.
Yes. Just
so
us.
They're onto you. They're onto you.
Yes, they had General Flynn there. We had, of course, a Sheriff Mack's event with the Constitutional Sheriffs and Police Officers Association, and they were out there picketing. They had signs against ICE and all of that. course, me and Fincham were yelling out the window, "Go Trump!" You know, and what these people don't understand is we were there to be able to talk about the Constitution. Well, the Constitution we were protecting has to do with freedom of speech, which allows them to pick at us. We're going to fight for their freedom of speech just as well as everybody else.
So is there more that you can disclose, the web of intricacies or the things? I know you've talked about this on my program before, but can we go to the 𝗏𝗏𝐶𝗏𝗏 where you can disclose more information? And
yeah, I've got to be careful on how much we disclose, but I can tell you about some of the meetings that we're hoping to have and some of the things we're looking at doing.
But you can give them something, right? Because I know when you're putting videos out like this, I've been trying to get a hold of you for the last few months.
I know.
And Dave, I can't talk right now. You got to believe me. I'm meeting with very important people. Can you reveal some of the headway you've made?
I'll tell you a couple of the people we've met with.
Okay, awesome. So I'll see you at 𝗏𝗏𝐶𝗏𝗏tv. Stay with me just a moment. Shawn Taylor, you're a true patriot, man, and I'm honored to have you on my program, man. And I know that you've had the threats. You've had it all happen to you, man. This is a true patriot right here, folks. This guy could be one of the biggest keys to unlocking all of the money laundering and deviant behaviors. I appreciate you, Shawn. Let me just stay with me just for a second while I end this, and let's go to 𝗏TV.